is H.R. 8873, the Recover COVID Unemployment Fraud in Banks Act, introduced by Representatives Van Duyne and Swazi, which establishes a federal task force to claw back unspent federal pandemic unemployment compensation payments being held by banks 6 years after the pandemic. There's no one tougher in Congress in cracking down on fraud than Representative Van Duyne, who has been fighting to recover the billions upon billions of dollars in fraud and improper payments lost to criminal activity and bureaucratic mismanagement both during and after the COVID pandemic, and prosecute those responsible. As a member of the Ways and Means, Work and Welfare and Oversight Subcommittees, she's standing up for the American taxpayer, as well as those families in our communities who are truly in need of assistance. I'm pleased to recognize the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Van Duyne, for an opening statement.
I feel like I can only go downhill after that introduction, Mr. Chairman, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I am proud to sponsor the bipartisan Recover COVID Unemployment Fraud in Banks Act, along with my Democrat colleague, Representative Swazi. This bill establishes a federal task force to coordinate with states to recover unspent federal pandemic unemployment payments being held by financial institutions. In addition, the task force is charged with developing a roadmap that facilitates the cost-effective recovery of the payments and return them to the federal government. This is a must-pass bill. Earlier this year, the Department of Labor Office of Inspector General issued 2 fraud alerts announcing that it found nearly $1 billion in unspent COVID-19 unemployment funds frozen and held by financial institutions due to suspicion of fraud. These funds were identified on millions of prepaid debit cards and issued by states to distribute supplemental federal unemployment benefits during the pandemic. But more than 6 years after the pandemic, these accounts have been left forgotten by state workforce agencies, unreconciled, and in some cases, transferred by banks to state unclaimed property due to inactivity, which really complicates recovery efforts. Without congressional action, hundreds of millions of dollars may go unrecovered. This committee has been laser-focused on the prosecution of pandemic-era unemployment fraud and strengthening the unemployment program. Last March, the Work and Welfare Subcommittee held a hearing on this issue and the implications of failing to act. In his testimony, the Inspector General stated that the fraud alert memos highlighted nearly $1 billion in fraudulent unemployment benefits remain unclaimed or frozen in prepaid debit card accounts across 21 states, and that more than $200 million of funds flagged for fraud have already been transferred to state unclaimed property divisions, which will make that even harder to get back. The Recover COVID Unemployment Fraud in Banks Act establishes a federal task force led by a national recovery coordinator to coordinate with states to review and recover federal pandemic UI payments issued on prepaid debit card banks or those funds that have already been transferred to state unclaimed property managers. In addition, this legislation extends the statute of limitations for prosecuting pandemic UI fraud from 5 years to 10 years. And this is the same language as H.R. 1156, the Pandemic Unemployed Fraud Enforcement Act, which passed the House last March with the support of over 82 Democrats. To this day, federal law enforcement agencies are in the middle of litigating hundreds of cases, with hundreds more having yet to be litigated. These cases are primarily reliant on criminal statutes that carry a 5-year limitation. Between October 1st, 2025 and the present, the Labor Department Inspector General has successfully brought 59 criminal matters to prosecution across all of its national investigative regions. These investigations resulted in charging 131 individuals and more than $16 million in monetary recoveries. H.R. 8873 has also received the endorsement from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Taxpayers Protective Alliance, the National Association of State Workforce Agencies, and the Strategic Services on Unemployment and Workers' Compensation. Every dollar going to fraud is a dollar that does not go to those who need it. And it's too late to recover stolen UI funds. It's never too late. We need to actually focus on that and make sure that we're doing our job. And I hope that my Democrat colleagues will join us in supporting this common sense bill, and I yield back.